Alrighty. What's up, family? This is your man, not your boy, Gold Black to Africa. Peace and blessings to each and every one of you all who's going to watch this video. I'm going to share with you some things that it is going to change your life. Yeah, I want to at least say blessings to you for those who are out here who are in a tough situation, who is in a hard time, whose backs up against a corner, those who don't have hope, those who have lost any sense of hope, those who really have been searching for answers. I just want to drop in your lap, family. I want to drop in your lap about how the answer is there for one to take their own life. That's in their own hands and destroy it. Now, hold on before you go and think I'm talking in a sense that you might think I'm talking. I'm talking something spiritual. And spiritual means nothing more than something that you can't actually see, but you will see it through the spirit of what I'm about to share. I know that today is Sunday morning here in Africa. Yet I know that it is early wee mornings in places like America. I know some people probably are still out there partying, having fun, drinking, drugging, snorting, sniffing, shooting. I know there are people out there sneaking and creeping in people's houses and beds. I know there are people out there who, when they get that tug of the Most High to show them that you're not at the place I created you, and that shame and guilt becomes upon you, and you know that you have been trying to rid this issue of life, get rid of this thing, and it's been the monkey on your back. It's been the issue of your life. You've been tormented by past pains. You've been tormented by these being violated in the past. You have been taken advantage of. You've gone through the toughest times of your life when you have whether it was your marriage that ended, whether it was your family members that did you wrong, whether it was your loved one, whether it was your job, whether it was whatever it was. I know there is a time for suicide. D. King says it's not a good thing. Listen to hold tight, because this is only for those who have the spirit, and I believe each person has a spirit to hear. We just deafen that ear because we have allowed the world to develop a different ear. We are used to languages, we're used to words, we are used to things that the world has told us, and by the vocabularies or the linguos or whatever, to hear things what we want to hear. But hold on tight. I know that you all are tripping over the title, Builder Square. Perplexed. My daughter called me up. She cursed me out. She was very upset because she says her life had turned upside down. And she told me I should have been there, that I should have helped her out, that she have had thoughts of suicide, and that it's been the worst grueling time of her life. She's been struggling. And I told her, interesting. It seems as though that you have come to the end of your road. It seems as though that you have found that what the life that you thought was is not, which means somebody lied to you, or you might have lied to yourself. Who told you that life was supposed to be grand? Matter of fact, as she was talking, she was sharing about her bad relationships she's had. She shared about her issues that she's dealt with, and these things of life that come upon her. You're looking at a man who almost took his life. Back in 1994, October the 7th, I almost took my life because I had the walls closed in on me. My past was haunting me. But things around me, my situation was withering away. I had nothing to resuscitate my life, to put it to a place I thought would be okay. I tried everything to do in my own power to bring this life to a place I thought would be great. In every attempt that I tried to bring this life to, it failed. You see, people are always wanting to have a great situation that happened, but they're not willing to change the way they are. Do you know the large majority of issues that we have in our life is self-inflicted? Do you not know that when we sit here, like my daughter, who's screaming that she is wanting to kill herself, take her life out of life. Doesn't that make sense? Take your life out of life because it's not turning out the way that you thought, but not realizing that it is you who can make that change. Why do I say that it is a good thing to take one's own life? You have to have a spiritual ear to understand, and I'm going to get you to that place. One wants to physically take their life. Be done with it. I'm taking myself out of this picture. I'm done with it. I can't deal with it. So I'd rather just go away. I've had those thoughts. I came this close to doing it. So I understand what my daughter is saying. And she ragged me. She blasted me. She cursed me. She used every curse word that man created and threw that all on me. As one who is responsible for her mishaps and her downfalls, of her bad relationships, of her getting fired from her job. She threw the sink at me. She threw the tub at me. She threw the car at me. She went as far as trying to say I was the worst dad ever. I'm worse than a deadbeat dad because I didn't give her money to help her in her, for her rent, for her to keep her apartment. You see, sometimes when people give you godly advice or highly advice or a great advice, they don't want to take your advice. They only want the answer they want. They only want things to work out in the way that they want it to work out. But if you came to an end of your road and want to take your life, then should you not admit you messed it up or played a part in messing it up? Because just like myself, I had people that violated me. My mama was an abusive, very abusive woman. I was violated by a babysitter. I had struggled with relationships with the beautiful women. I had became this arrogant beast of a person. I was violent with other people. I was a drunken fool. I created my life off of things and situations that I thought was responsible for the decisions I made to put me in a corner that I could not fight myself out of. So I wanted to take my life. And I use this as a means, as an excuse to blame everybody else besides myself. So if I have gotten to a place at the end of my road, want to check out of life, what is wrong with dismantling the life that you have? Now, I'm not talking about this physical ending your life as far as the body's concerned, but I'm talking about committing a suicide of the thoughts, the mentalities, the way of thinking, your approach to life, your decision making. Why can't we destroy that old man? If we think that, if we would pause and see that the way we have carried on our life that if it's such a mess, why can't you clean it up? For if I had the power to mess it up, don't I have the power to clean it up? And because of the decisions I were making, the way of the things I were doing, can I not change that man, destroy that old man and create a new man or woman? You see, when I was about to take my life, I had nowhere to turn. I turned to the alcohol. I turned to women, sex. I turned to, fighting. I turned to all of these things I was doing. I turned to everywhere. And the more I turned to all of these things of the natural, I got worse and worse. You see, we'll find out very quickly how weak we are as a people when we realize that, I can have the money, the power, I can have all of these things. But when life deals you a hand of things that don't go your way, you might lose your job, your health might become very weak, your relationships fail, everything is falling apart. You're going to find really quick how weak of an individual you are. How do you strum up now power in yourself when you've become so weak? Because you relied on your strength all these days. How is it that you got into a place that you don't even like your life anymore, that you want to give up and call it in? Fold your hand in, when you're playing like, some cards or whatever, some of y'all gamblers out there that, you've lost everything in your life and you're now feeling miserable too. Some of you all drown yourself in your misery by trying to associate yourself with other people, and you feel really bad. You went to mama, you went to daddy, you went to auntie, you went to uncle, you went to sister, brother, and it seems that their answers are not even helping you. And when you go to all of these people that nobody still can help you, you still feel this void within that can't be filled. That void that is just pressing upon you of the idea of wanting to take your life. And you should, spiritually. You should do a self-assessment of where you came from and where you're trying to go and really look at, why am I continuing to do the same things but complain about my life when I see the things that I'm doing are not fruitful? Isn't that true? And as soon as somebody talks about a God, oh, goodness gracious, please get the heck out of here. I ain't trying that. I don't want to hear that. For I knew my mama, my daddy, my sister, my brother. They was all part of that stuff there. That's all a lie. It ain't no place. This is just garbage and all that right there. I ain't trying to hear none of that. You see, nobody wants to destroy the old man, destroy the mindset, the mentality. Nobody's trying to cut off the old head and regrow a new way of thinking. How do you do that? I'm about to tell you. How do you take on a new mindset, a new spiritual thinking? How do you take on a different way or approach to this life that you have caused a wreck of? You know what? When I was back there, I was 28 years old. I did everything underneath the sun that was in the dark. When I say in the dark, that nothing came good out of it. Nothing came good out of it. Having children out of wedlock, and drinking and driving, DUIs, getting locked up for fighting. I'm out here, just crazy, aimlessly wandering, and I'm really shooting myself. Literally, in a sense of a spiritual mindset, I am destroying my own self, and yet I'm complaining about the way my life is turning out, and I'm out here doing all these things that are bringing misery in my life. It's because you need to commit suicide spiritually and cut off of this head spiritually and grow a new spiritual mind. Somebody keeps saying, you need to change the title. No, I don't. This is only for those who are ready to change in a spiritual sense mindset. We keep looking at things on a natural sense. When you look on things on a natural sense, you get natural results. When you keep looking at things with this natural eye, you're going to get a natural result. It is time for you to be able to conquer the spiritual realm. And yes, it does exist. Oh, it does. See, when you think you're physically strong, you quickly will find you are spiritually weak. You see, mentally brain strength does not outlast a spiritual strength. See, mental strength is nothing more than when you think you got all the answers, and when you exhaust all that you have and they don't work, where does that leave you at now? And every man will be confronted. You see, the rich men, what they do, because they got the money, is they try to go pay for a counselor, a psychic, a therapist to help them through their mental weakness. You see, those who have money will go to these shamans and they will try to get these ayahuascas and these drugs to be able to try to filter out, to cleanse themselves or get to an answer of their life because they are spiritually weak. Come on now. How many of these people, the actors and the rappers who got all this money, these people who got all this wealth, who say, oh yeah, I talk to my therapist weekly. These are spiritually weak people. You got to remove yourself from a natural way of thinking. Everything that you think this life is, that you think you got control of, you think your money got answers, you can go to your therapist, you can go to your doc, you can go to this psyche, you can go to your palm readers. And this is nothing more than a natural way of trying to fix something in your natural life that eventually you will exhaust and find that there is no answer that's going to help you until you cross over into a spiritual strength, having a spiritual strength of mind. That conquers a mind that you think that all the self-help books, you think that all of this worldly advice, you think you got the money to go ahead and take care of the problems that you have. You have family issues, you'll go to therapists and y'all sit down and, you have drinking and drug problems, you will go to a group out there, AAs and all that right there, and you still gonna find that you're spiritually weak. You're going to find that it's still not helping. And some of you all are going to want to physically check out. Some of you are going to try to find that. You know what? I come to the end of my road. I'm tired of this. I'm tired of this thing. I'm tired of this marriage. I'm tired of this job. I'm tired of this right. I can't handle it no more. This right here has put me into a low place. And you find everywhere you turn don't have the answer for you. There is a difference within a natural mindset of strength and a spiritual strength. Believe me, I had to walk through that. When I wanted to commit suicide, October the 7th, 1994, 28 years old, in my living room, when I got to almost taking my life, I screamed out, crying and snotting, afraid to do that last move, put myself in checkmate as the chessboard. And as I screamed out, if there is a God, help me, I then destroyed my natural mindset and stepped into a total different place. I submitted and surrendered. After all of these years of being up to 28 years old, I surrendered and only turned to what I had left to turn to was this thing that was called a God, knew nothing about it. And I don't even like to use that word because that word cannot even describe the very power that exists in this universe that men has raped and used and abused, that has caused it to be shamed, that has misrepresented it. And I, at that moment of time, called out to that entity that knew my heart was prepared to stand upright and become a new creature. Because I was physically weak, mentally. And there are people who scream and stand on their mental strength. But woe to the day comes when they will be exhausted and they will find that they are weak in spirit. Because what they do, like I said before, is most will exhaust their finances. See, the rich man don't tell you that he goes through a time of weakness, that he will pay millions of dollars to these psychotherapists to try to handle their problems. Listen, if you listen closely to these people who have the money, they will tell you this. They will sit in sessions. They will sit in either as individual sessions, group therapies. They will go and turn into getting drugs to go ahead and pop it to ease their pain. Many are in anxieties and go to their doctors and try to get pills and drugs to take away their anxieties. There are those who have insomnias that can't sleep. There are people who are afraid to turn the lights out. There are people right here who have so much stress that they are turning themselves to all of these opioids or these psychotherapy drugs and these entities of trying to go seek people to read into their future to find out where they're going to head, trying to get cards and flip cards and read palms and trying to help them in what is their life going to be like. There are people out here who have turned to all of these things. They have turned to other people, turned to the loved ones, turned to the calling and trying to get answers from people on faraway distances, trying methods of meditations and trying all of these things and got them nowhere. And they still see their problems still exist. So my daughter, who calls me up the other day, cursing me out, blaming me for her life problems, and all because the fact that she wasn't spiritually strong to handle her first challenge of life, losing a job, and could not lean to her father's advice, that she rather do it her way, that it pushed her to a place of wanting to commit suicide. She said, she went as far as saying that I didn't ask to come into this world. You and mom brought me into this world. And I said, oh, no, no, no. Your mama had 2 miscarriages before bringing your sister and you. You fought to come into this world. You were the one, that little bit of seed that was in my sperm, the sperm, you won the race. You fought every sperm that went through your mother's love canal to get to that egg. You was the winner, your first victory of life. When you came out of my body through the sperm, you out of the millions of sperms, you fought to get to that egg. You fought and wanted to come into this world. You did ask to come into this world. For you could have been lazy and decided the rest of the race to get to the egg through the woman's love canal. You decided to fight and push all the rest of the sperm back as you're swimming through the love canal. You're the one who was up there that was pushing the rest off of your mama's egg. You was the one fighting for position. Somebody said, can somebody explain the title? Listen tight. This is the problem we have. That's why many people's lives are in shambles. You don't want to listen to people who have this worldly, godly advice, or spiritual advice that's going to help you. Everybody wants somebody to explain something to them. Run into the wrong people for the wrong answers. Sit tight. So as my daughter is blaming me and talking all this about, I didn't ask to come into this world. I didn't. Yes, you did. You fought to come into this world. You fought off millions of sperms that I ejected out of my body into your mama. And you won your first race. You asked to come into this world. You are the one who stayed in that womb for 9 months of all the billions of things that could have happened within the womb. You fought that war within your mama's womb to come into this life. You said you were up for the challenge. And now that you don't like how life has turned out, you want to now end it. I get it. I was there. And what I found out was, as strong as a man that I was, I used to be ugly. I used to have the muscles big. I was the gym pumping iron and all that, right? Exercising my body. Boy, I could run. Man, I'm telling you, I was built. My chest was out. My arms was kicking. My body was tight. I had the head knowledge. I thought I was smart. I went to college. I had degrees. And it all couldn't help me. But I had to let that old man die. You see, that big ego, that man who was filled of strength physically through the mind of knowledge, what I thought them books that they were teaching me, could not help me in my time of pressure. You see, the place of Gethsemane, the place of pressure, caught me. And it caught me at a right time of life, that crossroads of life, that when it came time for me to face realization that I made a mess of my life that I did not like. I wanted to take the easy road to kill myself and leave all that mess behind. So what I found was I was weak spiritually. You see, mentally, I was in the military. I went to a war. I was able to stand up to the biggest guy. I wasn't afraid of an old man. I was even strong enough to put poison in my body, run risk of overdosing. I wasn't afraid of that. I went through all the challenges and had no fear physically of anything. But the little bitty life problems that I had that came tumbling down this castle that I lived in, spiritually weakened me. And I found very quickly how spiritually weak I was. Though I was in the gym and can pump, I can put them 300, 400 pounds and squatting and pushing and pulling and tugging. I can stand up against anybody and go and fight up against them and all that right there. Wasn't fear of that. Go in the middle of the wars over there to Kuwait. Scud bombs are being blown out of the sky. I wasn't scared of that. But somehow, I could not fix the mess that I created. I could not get over the torment from the past of being violated, abused. I could not, all that I had, I could not destroy that. But I wanted to take the easy road and check out by just ending the life that I created. So that day, October the 7th, 1994, I did something totally different. As I'm sitting here at the edge of the cliff, about to take my life, I called out to one that I didn't even have any clue of, but for some reason, I screamed out and said, "If there is a God, help me." Scratching my head, crying and snotting, because I know if I do this action, my child would be left without a father. My brother, sister would be left without a brother. My father and mother would be left without a son. Am I ready to take this? And I did the impossible. I did something that one would say was a coward move. I called out into an entity that I knew nothing about. And I surrendered there in my living room out of all the strength that I had, all the accomplishments that I did, the degrees are on the walls, the money is in the bank, and yet I called out to an entity I knew nothing about to help me. As those words went into the atmosphere, it hit something. As those words went out into the atmosphere, it ushered into my place something. I primed myself at that moment to commit a different suicide. Because that entity, as I spoke out into the atmosphere, in my living room, 28 years old, strong and looked good, no gray hair. I was, as the women say, I was good looking. I was pleasing to the eye. Strong. But my life problems broke me down. Those past pains and those issues that haunted me day in and out, the nightmares I had, the drinking, trying to suppress those issues could not get me anywhere. They would not go anywhere. So I played life as though it was like it was a cartoon. Putting on the fake smiles, going out, going to the clubs and running the women and drinking with my friends and partying. What's up, dog? What's up, my nigga? What's up, homie? What's the deal, yo? Acting like everything is great. Relationships failing by the wayside. Friendships are falling. Job problems, I'm on the job. But I spoke into the atmosphere at the weakest point in my life. And I ushered in a presence I'll never, ever forget. What I actually did was I crushed my own ego, my mindset of what I thought I was so strong that I called on something beyond myself to help me because I couldn't help myself. This is what my daughter calling me up the other day and cursing me out. Because of her life, how it turned out, I was the one to blame. I told her she was in a very good place. You thinking about taking your life. Wow. You were in a very good place then. Because apparently you're finding out you can't handle your issues. And what I found out as I had this presence usher into my living room, a peace fell upon my presence. A peace fell upon me that I cannot describe to this day what it was. All I can tell people is that it was a comfort that rocked me there as I was snotting and crying, and I was at the end of my rope about to take my life, but it was a peace that I felt. You see, what I didn't know was I committed suicide. Not physically. I surrendered to something. Y'all say God. I say the Most High. I say my Creator, one that brought me into this world, who created me. But I surrendered to, I didn't know none of this at the time. What I'm saying is that when I was at the end of my road on the floor in my living room, and I'm crying out because I don't want to do this thing. I don't want to take my life, but my life, the misery and the pain kept haunting me. And what I caused, I was blaming other people for the faults of the decisions that I were making that caused things even that much more worse, that I wanted to end it. I wanted to end it. But I said something that came out of my mouth. If there's a God, help me. As I'm snotting there crying. That action that I did, I would not know until later, was that I committed a suicide. I destroyed the very person that I thought I was, so strong and so able and so knowledgeable and smart and good looking. I destroyed that person. It was the greatest action that I ever could do. It was the greatest decision that I ever could do. Because now I became pliable. I became something that entity knew it could work with. I knew that the life I was living was not fruitful, that everything I was doing did not bring flowers in my life. It brought misery and pain in my life. Come on, y'all. Talk to me now. Come on, y'all. For those who used to live a life that was of pain and misery. Bad relationship after bad relationship. Drunken night or high nights after high nights. Arguments and fighting after arguments and fighting. Come on, y'all. Somebody knows what I'm talking about. You complain about your relationships. You can't complain about your mama, your daddy, your brother, your sister. You complain about those who violated you. You complain about all these people. You complain about these issues. And your decisions, you gravitate to things that brings you even that much more further. So you are a participant in the matter too as well. And you get to the lowest point of your life and realize you ain't nothing. Or I like to say, no thing. Because you're not. You are no thing. All those titles that you put on your life, all of those labels you've put on who you are. I'm good looking, I'm strong. You know, we spend more time in the mirror looking at this flesh than we are able to look at how spiritually strong we are on the inside. When we don't like what we see, we change it. We cut our hair or we put on hair. We go ahead and make it up. We cover it up. We put on the eyes and we put this whole thing. We put our clothes on. We suit it up. We put on the deodorant to clean up this stinky flesh that stinks in a matter of a day if you don't bathe it. We put on the perfumes and the colognes. We put on all of this stuff on this nasty, stinking body. And we dress it up. But that ain't you. But you try to cover it. Come on, y'all. You know how it is. You'll clean your car up. Then you go through a mud puddle and it gets dirty. Then you clean it up again to make it shine and all that right there. But time comes on when it starts to show its age, don't it? So what do? Your car starts to show its age. We're talking about your body. Some people go ahead and, like the car, you get a new paint job because the paint's fading. You get a dent on it, a scratch or whatever. You go get it, fixed and repaired. Some of you all will go, and get new body parts and make it, look different ways. And, you go ahead and try to make it look all better, because it's aging. And you start to hate the very thing that you're looking at in the mirror. Come on, y'all. And you start to assess your life and you start to see the life you came from and you look at it and you say it's no good. But you can't clean it up like you try to clean up your body, because while you spending all the time in the mirror, you are putting on this air, you can't face the reality of this sick person that you're looking at, that you keep painting it up, cleaning it up. But every morning you get up in the morning and you go in that bathroom, you can't stand to look at it and be quiet and assess yourself and judge yourself and tell you ain't shit. We're talking about the body, this flesh, this mind. It ain't nothing. But then we go through the ritual every day. We go in the shower, we wash and clean it up because it stinks. It's nasty. We defecate out of it. We urine out of it. And y'all women, y'all even bleed out of it. And we praise it all the time. And we put all the stock into it. And we look at each other like it's something we desiring to have. And it's nothing but an old stinking flesh that we got to deodorize. And we got to perfume and cologne it. Dress it up and cut it and put makeup on it. We got to put the clothes on top of it and make it all appear to be perfect and well for other people. Isn't this true? All the while the misery in our spirit is become low, the vibration, the energy that has become so low that we are ready to take our own life. Instead of trying to raise the vibration, we continue to go to places that have low vibrations and bring us even that much more lower. We want to ingest things that brings the vibration, brings the spirit even that much more lower. The energy that we are. You see, I'm going to break this down for people. This whole God concept, people got wrong. People got it all wrong. You see, when the Europeans came and took the scrolls, the ancient writings, they took the scripts out of the hands of those who wrote these things, or they found them when people dug and hid them for the right time for people to understand the mysterious things of this creator that exists. They put a picture on it. They painted a picture. They created idols and sculptures and statues that got every last one of us believing that there's this man out here, that there's this man in some sky somewhere, that this body Jesus somewhere, that it's here to look over us and condemn us, and they've given a very bad image of the Most High. I believe why people say they don't believe in God. That's not even the name. I understand why people, I don't believe in no God. I'm with you. So let's explore this thing. What was that presence that came into my living room that met me at my place before I committed suicide physically? And I was ready to commit suicide spiritually, that brought me over to a different place, that took me out of this dark place and brought me into the light. What was that? Because when I called out, it knew. Even though I referenced that if there is a God, all I was saying is if there is one greater than myself, I had to fall to my weakest point, and I went outside of myself and called out into the atmosphere of something to help me. Now, this spirit entity that I will not even try to describe, that most people act as though that they know, which they don't even have a clue. I called out and committed a spiritual suicide to reach out to something, some entity, some power, some source that would be there to help me to raise up what I thought would be this strong man that I was and this strong mind that I had, that it rose me up and put a peace on me and guided me into a place of light, a place of right. Let me share with y'all to wreck your mindset, to destroy some of this mess that the world's put in your head about this God. Everybody admits, everybody talks and claims vibration, frequencies, energies. Everybody say, I vibe with that person. I connect with this person. I am in alliance with that. And everybody commit or it can admit that there is this magnetic field, this electromagnetic field. There is this power energy that happens within the universe or in the galaxies. Everybody, the science or the astrologers or the scientists and all of these people have delved into seeing that in this space we live in is a energy, is a source of whatever is that exists, that you're watching me from thousands of miles away on a screen, that this signal that goes through the body, which I call the body of the Most High, can travel through the body of the Most High, that can go to outer space, can come back down, and you watch me from thousands of miles away. That man is tapping into this energy, this frequency, this whatever they want to call it. I know what it is. But then as I'm speaking and the vibration from my vocal cords that creates a vibration, and they taught us how to do it. And you add it together, this vibration that your ears channel in goes, and you understand what I'm saying if you were taught that language, that we can admit that is such, but nobody, very few, will share with you that that energy, the space we live in, is the body of the Most High. Nobody even knows which way it is or where it at what point in time of its existence being everywhere in all places, yet can remove itself from one place to another, is what is. I had to grow to understand this. Because what the world tells you about this God is all a lie to control you and where you are. You see, this power that is of good and evil. If the existence of this whole thing of life, of this universe, in the galaxies that we have, one must understand that there are two sides of life. In everything, there is two sides of it. There is not one thing that stands on its own. It is an impossibility. What do I mean by that? You have the good, the bad, the light, the dark. You have the man, the woman. You have the up, the down. You have the moon, you have the sun. You know, you have a positive and you have a negative. You know, you have energy, you have death. You have, it goes on and on. But in this molecular structure, this atom creation, you're going to find that it is the base or the stones or the building blocks of what the Creator is. Life, the essence of what is. I surrendered to that. I committed suicide spiritually. And I found that those things that I was affiliated in was of a lower vibration. Evil, if you will, darkness, if you will. Anything of that is of darkness, anything that brings you lower is a lower frequency. I'm trying to use the words that y'all use because we can switch words in and out. I was talking to a young man the other day. He said, I don't believe in a God. I said, oh, you don't? Okay, all right, okay, let's rap. I said, what do you believe in? Because a belief is a belief. He says, I believe in life. I believe life is. Oh, please explain to me what life is then. Life is energy. Oh, life is energy. Come on with it, brother. Let's talk about that. Life is energy. Yeah, I believe that life is energy. Okay, and where is this energy? And how much energy is it? Is there greater energy or is there lesser energy? Come on, let's talk about it. Well, yeah, there's more stronger energy than there is other energies. Ooh, I like that. Because now we're getting somewhere. Where's this high energy and where's this low energy? And what is it about? Because see, people want you to keep thinking God is this man, God is this, what in our mindset, what God is. Because this brother, everything he said, I proved to him that you saying nothing more than what the ancient writers were writing. I said, so what do you think about human beings? We're energy beings. Are we? I said, you do know that you can't kill energy, right? He said, of course you can't. You can't. Somebody's saying. You can't destroy energy, right? If anybody knows about a little bit about, biology or science, we know that atoms cannot be destroyed. Everything that you see and touch is made of atoms. Hence, if you even read the Bible, if you look on the spiritual sense of it, when God created Adam, they weren't talking about ADAM, it was ATOM. But see, because of the scholars of ancient times who were writing such a things, it does not compare to what the things that we have today in terminologies and images and pictures and depictions. They all change as time goes on. So this guy is talking about this. I said, so what happens when you die then? Because if we're energy, what happens when you die? If energy can't be destroyed. He says your energy just goes. I said, goes where? It just goes back into the life. Oh, I likes this now. Oh, I likes this. Because we could throw God out. We could throw let's just throw the name out because he didn't like that. When I said spiritual, I don't like that word spiritual. See, that right there, that's the religion, this and that. Okay, you don't like spiritual? Let's use another word. Let's use energy. Let's use vibration. Yes, let's use frequency. You saying energy, let's use it. Because see, people got you twisted up about this God thing that are causing people to go run away from it. Let's throw those words out then. Because where you don't like one word, let's bring in another word. There's many words we can use. Because you're saying the same thing that I'm saying. It's just the fact of it is that you're remaining away from the very thing that is there for you. Well, I believe we know all things, and I believe that life can show you these things. Okay, yes, you're absolutely right. Because if you don't want to say God, then you say life. Now, the very things you're describing, you said that the man, if he dies, his energies just goes back into the essence of life. Wow, isn't that interesting? Because see, what has been shown me is the same thing you're saying. But the thing of it is that if we understand what he said, there are different levels of energy. Then can energy that is at a lower frequency abide or live or exist in the same area or space as a higher energy? Can a higher energy exist or remain or exist or be in the area of a lower energy? No. Hence, when the ancient writers were writing about a soul, let's just, you don't want to hear soul. That's okay. You said energy. Man has energy. Okay, man has a soul. This is what ancient writers was. When we're trying to describe things, we put names upon them. You saying that the man has an energy, when this flesh goes back to the ground, that energy goes back into the essence of what he was saying, life. I call it the body of the Most High. Now, here's the thing, because even the preachers who've been preaching this thing is up here talking about heaven and hell and all that and trying to explain to people about judgment. What is this then? Judgment, heaven and hell? Well, let me break it down to you. It's very simple. Because the ancient writers, even as they were being led, they were being instructed that this essence of life that I call the greater creator that exists amongst in all things, in it is good and evil. This is what the ancient writers write. It took me years to understand. How can this Almighty be of good and evil? Do you know how many years it took me to chew on that? If this entity, this thing that I will call the Most High, how then would it be of evil? because it's everything. Yet, listen to this, y'all. We were forewarned. Don't go on the side of darkness. For the side of darkness has its reward for those who wants to live in the wickedness. See, there's a difference between evil and wickedness. You see, the wickedness is that this unloving spirit that exists of those who go and rape, rob, kill, steal, and destroy. That's a wicked mind. And though that it is in the place of what you say, the side of the creator of evil, because I'm sharing this with the brother and I want y'all to understand, when you have your energy is predicated upon you. You could be positive energy or negative energy. Your energy could be up high, your energy could be up low. That's predicated upon you and knowing who you are. And that the world always wants to pull you down to a lower energy. That's the negative side of life. Because when you die, as he was saying, I believe when you die, your energy just goes back into life. I'm glad you said that. Because all energy must be measured. Because low energy can't be around high energy. It's like you can't have light. Turn your lights on in your bedroom and try to bring darkness in this. It cannot exist. Turn your lights all off and turn on the light and see that the light will force its way to press out darkness. This is why it is explained by the ancient writers, by the scrolls, the scriptures that you know, and y'all call it a Bible. But that's why these ancient writers were writing these things down, and yet we can't even spiritually discern the actual essence of the greater creator of what is. That in this dimension, in this level of what our minds can't even fathom, of what is that was being described as this spiritual realm, that in its most simplistic form, when your energy goes, it will be measured. If you don't like the word judgment, it shall be measured. And guess what? When it's measured, because the power that be, the almighty power that be, it categorizes or it sets the energy in place where it needs to go. That's why it's said, you either have the light of the Spirit or the darkness of the Spirit. And your energy, that is, when it goes back into life, when I explained this to the brother, and the brother actually remained quiet then when I was breaking this down to him. He was like, because we were going at it like, okay, going at it is trying to share our own thoughts. And I'm like, brother, what you're saying, you can find in the scrolls and the scriptures. Nah. I said, everything you're saying is written in the scriptures. See, the word Bible scared him. I don't like to use the word Bible. I don't like to use the word God. I know what it personally means, but to me, it shipwrecks people because the world has used and abused it. And you see these people who are claiming to know and claiming to live for, and yet these are some of the most evilest people. They're living on the side of darkness. So then that, I said to him, if you're saying that your spirit or your energy, he don't like the word spirit, your energy just goes back into life, where does it go? Where does the energy goes? Which side of life does it go to? If you believe in there's energy within us, if you believe science, so I hit him with that. Because as one wants to commit suicide, I found that even wrecking my low vibration spirit, where my spirit was so low, I was wanting to take my physical life. I learned that my spirit was so low that I didn't even want to live. That I had to raise up my vibration. That even the very things I listened to, the places I went, the things I read, the things I was around, the people I was around, the people I associated with myself, could either raise my energy or lower my energy. Which showed me then that I had to be very protective of my five senses. My sight, my smell, my taste, my touch, and my hearing. These five senses you have to protect. And here's the battle. I even had to learn that the very things while I was in the world and I laid my five senses to will constantly be there as a reminder where I came from. What do I mean by that? A trigger. The other day, this happens so often. I'm out and some music is playing. And here in Africa, they they like old school music. They play old school music. They get the music late, I guess. I don't know. But and I say old school music, maybe 10 years ago, 15 years ago, but they really like old music from the 70s, 80s too. You hear it on the things, they got those music that's playing and over again and all that right there from these satellites. But anyway, this song came on. Now we talking about spirit or energy, because some people don't like the word spirit. The energy of a song, that when that song came on, instantly my vibration attached to that and took me exactly back where I was. And I thought of this woman. And I thought of us in the bedroom. Instantly. You see, when it's said, the ancient writers wrote about familiar spirits, that the very things that you have associated yourself to, those will become familiar spirits. And those things will be triggers. What do I mean? Your smell, come on, y'all. Come on now. How many times you smell something and it'll take you back? Took you back to your grandmom, your house, a place, a person, or whatever. A smell can trigger you. A taste can trigger you. You touch something, it can trigger you and bring back a memory, a spirit, an energy, whatever word you want to use. Bring it back that quick, instantly. It can bring you into temptation. Hence is why it was shared by the ancient writers in the speaking into the atmosphere, the bosom of the Creator. That a common prayer or a word of speaking, of request, should be, our Lord which is in heaven, or our Father which is in heaven, our Almighty that which is in heaven, the Most High which is in heaven. Glory or respect to your name. Hallowed be thy name. Your kingdom come. Your kingdom come. Your will be done in earth as it is in the heavens. Right? In earth as it is in the heavens. Forgive me for my debts. It ain't talking about financial debts. This is talking about just the wrongdoings that we just do, whether through action, through thought, through words, whatever. Just forgive me of those debts as I forgive my debtors. Those who have done harm to me, I'm going to forgive. I have to get to that place. Lead me not into temptation, but deliver me from evil. This is a prayer, a word of speaking into the ear, the bosom of the Most High, that we should at least start our day off with. Because when you walk out your door, guess what's sitting waiting on you? Familiar spirits. But lead me not into temptation, yet deliver me from the evil. For you are. For thy is the power. For you are the power. Not me. I thought I was the power. I found how weak I was. For you are the power. The glory. Forever. This is it, family, right here. And when we look at the most powerful, the greatest energy, frequency, the essence of life that is, and remove that stinking thinking that there's this God man or this person that's sitting somewhere out there just taking notes of what. No, the notes are, see, when it said, who shall be written in the book of life? Because of the essence of life, of the essence and the presence of the Almighty, that energy, that element, that whatever you want to say, the vibration, people use these words, they use these words and they want to refrain from the Most High, Elohim or Jehovah, or, these words have meanings. My provider, my protector, my overseer, my guide, my everything. These words that all will have their own names for the Most High forever. I say Most High. Somebody else got a different name. But you think that the Most High is not smart or wit enough to know your heart, that where you stand and what your belief is then in that which is, to understand that I understand your words. You say you're giving me homage and respect. And when we do such things, we destroy and commit a suicide of our own mindset of knowledge. We now surrender into a greater spiritual, which is above a natural, of thinking. We now have brought ourselves to a higher. Let me say something about Jesus right here. Because see, they even raked that all up. They wrecked it. It's simple. Jesus never walked the earth. You're absolutely right. Not with legs it walked the earth. It's a spirit. It roams the earth. Jesus, the name Jesus, okay, let's go back to the ancient writers, because this is an English name that was brought on in the 1600s by taking out of translating from one language to another and said Jesus, which it was Isis and in an original form, and someone to say Yahweh, Yeshua, Yahweh, someone to say whatever. This spirit or the Son of God, what they write, and it baffles people's mind. This Son is nothing but the word, a word of the essence, the powerful force, the energy, the frequency, the vibration, whatever you want to call it, the energy is the word. That's called the Son of the Most High, or the Son of God. And us, which was referred to, was such. The essence of the powerful source that brought forth and spoke became a wee thing. That this word, which is a spirit, put into man, which even is in us, can show you and guide you. It's an energy, a spirit that can guide you. And everybody talking about, I ain't talking about God. No, no, let's talk about your language then. It's an energy. It's a high frequency energy that will guide you to try to keep you from, not try to, but it's for you to walk in high energy. And as you roam and go to places and hang around people and watch things that are low energy, that higher energy will try to bring you back up to where you were created in a high energy. So when you hear music that are of evil, wickedness, the dark side of life, it will bring your energy down, your vibration down. It will bring your spirit down. Y'all don't like the words? We can find words. So now you understand that this energy, look, let me read this to y'all right here. This is what ancient writers wrote. Let's go to check this out, family. This is what the ancient writers wrote. There was one who was taken in the spirit. This is what it says. I was taken in the spirit. This was supposed to be the disciple of John. He was taken up in the spirit and was shown things in a spiritual realm. If y'all have never experienced that, you know what? You need to go ahead and commit suicide of that old dark spirit and go ahead and take on a new spirit so you can be shown things in the spiritual realm, in heavenly places. But listen to this right here. Here is a description of the Most High that he saw in the spirit of things. Listen to this right here. Let's see here. Let's see. Okay, Revelation 4:3. He's taken to a place, it was heaven, looking upon the heavens. And it says this right here. As this is Revelations 4 and verse 1 for those who want to follow along. But check this out, y'all. This is written 1,000 years ago. It's right here. After this, I looked, and behold, a door was open in heaven, and first voice in the. Now, how can a door be open in heaven? Because now you gotta be in your spiritual sense now, okay? In a spiritual sense. The door was open in heaven, and a first voice which I heard was as it were of a trumpet talking with me. How can a trumpet talk? Vibration, y'all. Isn't music a vibration of pitches of sounds that is vibrating like your voice from your voice box vibrates, your lips causes the action of it or the accent of it. Your tongue plays a part in the pronunciations of it. Listen to this. Which I heard was it was as it were of a trumpet talking with me, which said, come up here and I will show you these things which must be hereafter. And immediately I was in the spirit. And behold, a throne was set in heaven, and one sat on the throne. Now listen to this. And he that sat was to look up, and he that sat on it was to look upon like a jasper and a sardine stone. Now it says, looked upon like a. Now we know it's not going to be an image of a stone, because if it's a jasper and a sardine stone have different shapes, because he's referring to a color. But here's the thing. Some of the Hebrew Israelites uses this reference as God is black, as though that as the jasper and the sardine stone, they saying that the jasper and the sardine stones are brown. So this must be the color of the Most High. But if anybody, you do your research, you will find that the jasper and the sardine stone has many colors. But he looked upon it like it was that of this color. This color of a jasper stone and sardine stone. And there was a rainbow round about the throne, in sight like unto an emerald. So these are descriptions. But we're talking about an energy, a powerful source. I mean, if some people even look into the galaxies and look at the beautiful colors that even off what it emits off of stars, the combustions of lights of red and yellow and green, and when you look at what the scope shows in these makings of the either in the growth of a star or the dissolve of a star, the glorious colors that is amazing. But he's seeing this colors of depicting that who sat on the throne. That's the Most High. And the sitting is not necessarily at its own entity body, like it's only resting in that spot, but yet everywhere, but can channel its entity anywhere. He sees this. And round about the throne were 24 seats. And upon the seats I saw 24 elders sitting, clothed in white raiment, and they had on their heads crowns of gold. Crowns of gold. Now, this is just a description of what I'm sharing with you all. This energy, this powerful force, this source, no man can put a patent on. No man can claim to know it in totality. No man can say that they know exactly which way it goes and what it does and what it says and all that right there, which is a bunch of lies. We can only hold for ourselves just the portions of what is revealed to us as it's revealed. Revelation upon revelation. But don't let nobody take away the very essence of the Most High that is here for you, that you at your place can commit suicide spiritually, because many of us at a low spiritual place can embrace to come upon the higher vibration or the higher frequency of where the Most High is to get you out of the rut of where you are. You see, the place that you've been in, you have been in your lowest points of life. You have been frequenting in places that are low, taking in and putting your body under subjection of drugs and alcohol that brings you to a lower vibration energy of life. Some of the people you've connected with in your relationships are nothing but are dead men walking. They are dead spiritually and have caused your spirit to be low. Their non-belief systems have caused you to become non-believing. While your spirit has become at the lowest point of life, is because you have accepted what the violators have done to you, have caused you have allowed the violators to reign in your life. It's time for you to rise up to the higher frequency of the Most High. For the Most High, it says by the ancient writers, is a spirit. That very spirit that met me in my living room when I was about to take my life. I didn't see no image. Not with the naked eye. I saw it with a spiritual eye. And that seeing it was the presence of the peace that fell upon me to keep me still from before I was about to take my life. That rose me up to put me on a search for a different life than what I was living. For the life I was living was all about the darkness, the lower frequency of life. Out there having children, sleeping with women, lying and cheating, being deceivers, fighting rebel rousers, out here drinking, drunken, being a drunk and alcoholic, out here just doing all the crazy things of darkness that brought me into a lower place that made me a wicked person. And it got to where that peace sent me on a journey to seek out a different way of life, the life of love, the life of light, the life of kindness, the light of gentleness, the life of meekness, the life of faith, the life of joy, the life of love, the fruits of the Spirit. These are the fruits that we can walk in instead of fruits of darkness, pain, misery, anguish, depression, anxiety. All of these things are the fruits of the dark side of life. You can continue to live your life, or you can commit a spiritual suicide. You can end it today. I had to call out, the strong as I was, I had to show that I had to submit under an authority, vibration, energy, or whatever you want to call, to that authority and seek out the light or the right of life, which my life has never been the same. And I'm thankful that I did commit suicide. I'm thankful that when I spoke into the bosom, what I call the bosom of the Most High, that when I try to describe how it felt when that peace came upon me, the only way I could describe it was being in the arms of the love that you've never had, and they rocking you in your misery and just setting you at peace. I felt like I was in the bosom. That's why I say it's the bosom, because I felt like I was being rocked and that I was snotting and crying in the bosom of the Most High. Set me a course, and you see the man that I am today, the spirit that exudes out of me into trying to help people like many of you all. That is the message. That is my direction. And I will never change to bring anybody back into captivity, in the slavery that I was in, promoting the garbage of darkness, living lifestyles that have decapitated our people, that we need to go ahead and sever that off and grow the new things of what is called Christ, the light of the world. Walking in the word of the Most High, the vibration, the energy, the powerful force from the source that can take us into. That is the meaning of being saved. That is the meaning of called rebirth. That's the meaning called being reborn. That's the meaning of being called being baptized in the name of the Most High, Yeshua, salvation. That's all it means in its most simplistic forms. Not going to church and rocking and all this right here and singing and dancing and hallelujah, all this stuff right here, and throwing money at the altar and all that, and thinking you got to pay your way to get into the kingdom of the Most High. That's on the spiritual side. No. This is being upright people walking in the light of the Most High, having a love heart to even share your good news now to the world. This is your man, not your boy. Go back to God. Check that channel out. I keep saying I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to start and I'm going to upload some. I got some videos there, but I'm really going to hit it to where the Lord is going to take me in that direction for those who wants to go ahead and understand the simplistic things of the Most High that has been convoluted, diluted, that's been dismantled and been wrecked to get people back on the most simplistic things of the Most High. I'm out, family.